Okay, here we go for day 3. This is Algebra 1, 2. We're going to look at factoring trinomials where A is not 1 today. Hope you guys are back with your hoods and your hats and your headphones. I've got a new hat here today to make sure we distinguish which day is what. We don't want it all to run together on you guys. Okay, so the first thing to understand, we've got a trinomial, and that's what we're going to factor today. We're going to take this. We're going to take a few steps to get it into factor by grouping, which was in the video yesterday and was on the assignment for day 2. All right, so once we get to there, it's actually going to be a review of a lot of that, but there's a few steps to go through here first. And you can pause and rewind and do whatever you need here to slow this down as we go. So just a reminder on that. So first of all, A is not 1. This is A. Okay, B is times the x, C is the constant over there. So the x squared, that's the quadratic. We'll talk more about quadratics later, but for right now, we have 3 terms. So we're going to take A times the C. So 2 times the 4, we get a positive 8. So my recommendation is to make a table. You'll see this a lot of different places. You can look up on Virtual Nerd, which I put the link there. You can find any topic you want. But once you've done that, we're going to go 1 times 8. So we're going to list the factors of 8. So 1 goes into 8. 1 will go into any number. Then it's even, so we got 2 and 4. 3 doesn't work, and then you're back around. You don't need to check anything else. All right, so that's how we get started today. Now, once you do that, we're actually going to take which combination here will combine to the middle term. So we multiply A and C, but then we need the combination for this one. So 1 and 8 or 2 and 4, we want the 1 and the 8. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to take this B term and we're going to split it up into plus 1x and plus 8x. These two terms just move down from where they were at. Okay, so that is a lot. That's a lot. We're going to, obviously this is number 1. We're going to practice this process 5 times here on the video, and hopefully with these notes this will help you get kind of the pattern down. If it takes a couple days, so be it. Hang in there. It sounds like we're going to have plenty of time to kind of get caught back up, hopefully. As far as, you can email, let me know what I can do to help you out, figure this out. So anyhow, so now once we've done that, we multiplied A times C again. We got the 8. We listed the factors of 8. We picked 1 and 8 because of the 9. Okay, because 1 and 8 combines to 9. So now that we split that up into here. So now we're going to do factor by grouping, just like we did on the day 2 video. So what do these two have in common? The 2 and the 1 only have an x in common. So we're going to divide x back into both of those. We end up getting 2x, and these 2x, this x into this one cancels out and becomes plus 1. All right, so this part, it's really like distributive property, but with division. Over here, the lower number 4 does go into 8, so we're going to factor out a 4 there. And then we divide 4 into both of them. We get 2x, and 4 into 4 is 1. We get what we want here where these two match up. And so just like yesterday in the day 2 work, we've got x plus 4, and we've got 2x plus 1. Those are the like terms, and that's my answer. Okay, now that's a lot. So that's the first time seeing it. Hang in there with this. Have some perseverance, and we'll get this figured out. So there's number 1. Okay, we're going to keep going here. We'll put several things up here and practice this process. Really, it's the same process over and over again. Once you get the hang of it, oftentimes students do pretty well with this, but it is one of the longer processes with algebra. So here we go for number 2. This time we're going to go 5x squared plus 12x plus 4. Okay, so again, first step, we're going to take A times C. I like to draw the arrow just so I don't forget, and it shows students what we're doing. So we get a positive 20. Notice I'm putting the sign there. That tells me if they're going to add or subtract to this middle term. So I like to use the word combine, because when we look at factors of 20, we got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 doesn't work, 4 and 5. So which one of those options, 1 and 20 won't work, 2 and 10, that could combine to 12, 4 and 5 could combine to 9 or 1, so that doesn't work. So again, we're going to take this and split it up. That is the big process here that's new. Yesterday we did what we're doing next, but again, that's pretty new for you guys as well, especially not seeing it kind of over and over in class with repetition. But anyhow, so that is the new part, right? So now we've got groups of 2 and 2. These two have an x in common, so we divide by an x, and so that one gets us 5x. These two x's cancel out when you divide that in, plus 2. This one, now 10 and 4. 4 doesn't work. However, the next highest factor of 4 is 2. 2 goes into both, so we put that one right here. So then 2 into the 10, we get 5x. 2 into the 4, we get plus 2. We need these to match up. It's kind of a self-check. If these two don't match up, whole thing's not right. Okay, or sorry, then we've done something wrong. I'm not going to give you one that doesn't work right now. So 5x plus 2. So here's the front terms. These two are the like terms. There's my answer for number 2. Okay? Now this video is going to be a little bit longer just because this whole process is a little bit longer. All right? So once you get the hang of it, maybe you can skip through, but there you go. There's the second one. While I'm erasing this, reminder that these do match up pretty close with the actual quiz. Or not the quiz, sorry, but the online the Canvas quiz. It's under quizzes, but it's really your homework, your attendance. So this matches up well with the homework if you take good notes. All right, number 3. This time we go 3y squared minus 10y plus 3. All right, so this time we've introduced a negative. We're still going to do a times c. We got factors of 9. You got 1 and 9. You got 3 and 3. So which combination will combine to 10? Now this one, again, when this is positive, I want the group that adds, because otherwise it wouldn't be possible. But when this is negative here, this is what's different about this one. Because this is positive, they both have to be the same sign, so they're both going to be negative. Because if I combine these, they'll combine to negative 10y. But if I multiply these two, I get a positive 9, and that's part of why I tell students to always write that sign right there. Okay? So the 3y squared comes down, plus 3 comes down, and now we're back to factor by grouping. So I'm going to go a little faster this time, but I'll slow down on the negative. So this side has a y in common. So when we divide by y, we get 3y minus 1. Over here, now 3 goes into the 9. When there's a negative in the middle, we want to factor out a negative of whatever that factor is. So we factor out the negative 3. Negative is a positive 3y, which is what we want. And 3 over negative 3, we get negative 1. I've got the like terms now. And my final answer, I get y minus 3, 3y minus 1. There you go. Okay, so hopefully we're getting pretty good at the factor by grouping. If not, it's okay. Hang in there. We will get this figured out. It's not like we have a test coming up on Friday. So the main thing is just we're picking things up along the way and then we're learning as we go. Okay? So let's go ahead and go to number 4. We've got 2 more here. We need a new eraser tomorrow, maybe. All right. Number 4, 6m squared minus 1m. And actually that will probably be written just as minus m minus 2. So this is number 4. All right, so again, we're going to multiply a times c to start with. You may notice, like I said, this, if there's nothing there, that really means it's a 1. So we're looking at factors of negative 12 this time. We got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and then that wraps up that list. So which one works? This time by subtraction. Okay, so we've got whatever this sign is going to tell me which way to combine to this middle term. Okay, and sometimes it takes students a little while to get that, but like I said, hang in there with this. The more repetition you see, the more it'll make sense, I think. So we can't get 1 out of this. 2 and 6 could only, the closest would be 4, but 3 and 4 are only 1 apart. Now, how do we decide which one's positive and which one's negative? That can be tricky. This is negative 1, so whatever sign is here, the larger column should match up with this sign. So this is negative 1 this time, so it's going to be negative 4 with a positive 3. Because we want, when we combine these two, the plus 3m and the minus 4m, to look like that. Okay? All right. So that's the tough part, getting through this and getting this split up. Now we're going to do factor by grouping again, like what we did yesterday. And all right, if you have questions on that part or whatnot, let me know, and I will try to set something up so I can help you out. All right, on this side, we end up, they've got a 3 in common and an m. So we divide 3m into both of these. 3 into 6, we get 2m. 3 into 3, and 3m over itself is plus 1. Over here, when there's a negative in the middle, we want to factor out a negative, and since 2 works, we factor out a negative 2. So negative negative is a positive 2m and plus 1, and so these match up just like we want. Our final answer then is 3m minus 2 and the 2m plus the 1. So that ends up being our overall answer. Hopefully you guys can see all that down there. A lot more writing on this stuff than some of the other things we have. So I'm going to keep going here. We're try to keep this as short as possible, but also want to make sure you get plenty of information. Okay, last one for number 5. Okay, we're going to have a negative again with this. 10n squared plus 7n minus 3. Okay, so we're going to multiply a times c again. We get negative 30 this time. So we're going to have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 doesn't work, 5 and 6. All right, so we want the one that combines to the 7. So 1 and 30, and now also note, this is positive 7. So this time the larger column is going to be the positives. So because this is negative, I want it to subtract a 7. So all of these would be the negatives. So that being said, this one's out, that one's out. Could this would combine to 7, and this one is, that would combine to 1. So it's out too. So we end up with 10n squared minus 3n plus 10n minus 3. So we go factor by grouping. The toughest part again is getting this set up. Once you get to factor by grouping, I know, like I said, this is something new for you, but hang in there with it, we'll get it figured out. These have an n in common. Factor out the n, we get 10n minus 3. Now, these don't have anything in common, so when that happens, I think we had one like this yesterday, a GCF, if they have nothing in common, everything always has a 1 in common. So the n and the 1, right, that ends up being what is part of our answer. So sometimes I have students who end up figuring out this pattern. They see the n and the 1, so it's going to end up n plus 1. Okay, the leftovers here, we get 10n minus 3. So whatever is these two should go in this last spot here. Students can figure out that pattern. So there you go. Pause at any spot you want. Take notes. Have these written down. This should help you, like I said, with the assignment. Please take more than 1 to 2 minutes to do the assignment. I know you get multiple attempts, so I'm trying to work on whether I can figure out, exactly how long it takes you if it counts on the third attempt. But main thing, like I said, is that we're picking things up as we go and doing the best you can. All right. Hope everybody stays safe out there, and I will have day 4 back for you tomorrow. Have a good day.